So yeah, last night I did an offline run. I did a lot of offline runs, and I was doing a grind for the 41XX, and I eventually got it. Took about I don't even know how long. So this is not a stream. I am confused. Yeah, I called it a restream. Maybe it's a rebroadcast. Essentially, I'll be restreaming my offline PB that I got. So maybe I'll just rename that rebroadcast. Why does it say offline? Um, where does it say offline? Am I offline? Because that'd be kind of odd. But yes, welcome Kratos and Arcadia. But yeah, I got the 41 last night. It was a gruesome set of runs. Let me just make sure I'm streaming. Okay, I think we're good. But yeah, so before I get started, so if you saw any of my tweets, like I would say one of the first few runs I had of the night. So I did a little bit of practice, nothing new strats or anything like that. But I got a 4202 again, and so I thought that was the run, and then like I was just going for things. The last World 7, I was going for everything that I could. And I think my splits were kind of dead even. Like I wasn't sure if I was saving time, wasn't sure if I was ahead, I don't know. And basically a 4202, and I was like, dang it, like, because it was a pretty good run. And then it ended up being like, I would say at least 3 hours of a bunch of dead runs. And so a lot of it was World Run Infinite. I just was either missing top sail, like I went through a period where I just like forgot to do top sail, and then or forgot how to do top sail, and then getting to Crow would just give me like a monstrous amount of fake eggs, and so I was just stuck there, just kept on going, and then eventually, like I was basically doing World 1 passively, where I'm like just waiting till things go in my favor, and Crow would at least give me, 1 or 2 fake eggs, and then I just would have to wait around, and then eventually, after I got a good World 1, I would kind of wake up and start doing the run. I had 2 fakeless runs with Lockjaw and Topsail, going into World 2 with like 7-8 second saves. And then I would miss Hothead, and then it's just like continuous grind. But eventually, I was able to get the 41. I would say probably about 10 o'clock or so last night. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and start the rebroadcast. So again, I'm not playing at the moment, and the quality might be a little weird because I'm kind of replaying this video I have. But I will go ahead and shift over there. That's why like my screen looks a little dim at the moment. Alright, so I'm going to turn off the game feed. Let's see, make sure I have my game audio up as well. Alright. This is weird, not playing while streaming. Turn it up. It won't look that much worse. Alright, that's good. But yeah, World 1, I mean, I was exhausted after so many bad World 1s. Like, I would either miss Lockjaw or get Lockjaw, miss top sail, then get a bunch of fake eggs. When I do get a fakeless and Lockjaw, I would end up messing up World 2, Hothead Warp. And I'm just like, what is going on? Oh yeah, this is what you did for your first SOA run, right? Yeah, I remember catching that. Let me know if I need to turn up any of my audio or anything like that. But yeah, this is actually my first time rewatching it because I won't necessarily spoil anything, but I did have some questions of where the time lost because dang it, Windows 10. Um, did I get locked on here? Nope. Did it offline and streamed it later to get the splits. Gotcha. But yeah, there's only one huge mistake that I remember, and it was later in the run. But that wasn't even that big of an issue. Like, I imagine if I didn't miss that. Let's see how my top sale is first. Alright. If I didn't get that, I imagine I would have saved so much more time. I didn't die at all, but you would think that I did. And that's in World 5. Not a spoiler. No deaths. I want to assume that I got like one fake egg, one or two. Yeah, okay, so that's one fake egg. I missed the throw, right? But I still come up ahead. And so that could have easily been 2-3 seconds there if I would just have stayed on top of the nest. If there was a death, I would get swept woods. Yeah, you'll see. But yeah, my hothead, I just need to figure out how to get it more consistent. I would say World 2 was a lot cleaner. I think everything you would expect all the way up until Cleaver. My Cleaver definitely has gotten a little more consistent where I wasn't at, for some reason I keep missing the third throw. But I have finally figured out a good audio and visual cue, which at least if I got to Cleaver, usually the run didn't die there. So I actually don't remember if any runs died to Cleaver, but definitely time has been lost at Cleaver last night. That was a small adjustment that I figured out during my last few runs, is just how not to get clipped by that corner. It's not like a huge time loss, I think it's just a few frames. What is Windows 10 doing? Anyway, how's your week going so far, Arcadia? By the way, I did, if you haven't yet, I've been uploading a lot more things on my YouTube channel. And essentially all it is a bunch of Donkey Kong Country 2 memes. I find them very funny. But I uploaded the latest one, which is a DBZ spoof. Anyway, so that was a small adjustment I made right there. I figured out where I need to throw right after the 3 sound cues that I have. So you get like the 2 sounds of Cleaver coming towards you. It's like shk, shk, and then it's like it sounds like like a cannon a little bit. And then right after that cannon sound, I go, I guess you could say like maybe 2 or 3 Dixie lengths away from the edge, and then throw right. And usually that's been getting a lot more consistent cleavers for me. So right here I say 5 seconds. If I have just a normal good crow, I would easily be ahead by like 10 seconds here. Yeah, it does give me a whole new perspective. It's really weird, like not focusing while streaming here or while playing. That one part right there where I could skip the DK barrel, where you roll through the DK barrel. I was losing a lot of good runs there where I would be like potentially 10 seconds ahead. I would go for the trick and then I would get hit by the flitter, and then I have to do, you know, a third of this stage with Dixie. And so I basically started to remove a lot of the aspects of my run that were just preventing me from getting runs, like easy runs. Because I was pretty confident in my end game. The early game, if you remember from my previous PB, was just all red up until I think it was World 4 or 5. Glimmers of stage that I'm continuously getting a better idea of what I need to do. There's still, I would say, to optimize the stage further, I would need to get the ending better. Right now, I tag out in the water, where I know you can do the team swap at the end, which is a little risky because you have to get shot at the cannon right next to the spiny, which usually for me ends up me getting hit. You can also prevent the puff from exploding at the end, and I can get that part, but because I still team swap in the water, it kind of nullifies that time save, I think. One thing right here is I've gotten a little more consistent with, even though I hit that corner, is that little route there. Basically, you get it just right, you're able to kind of descend straight into that little bottom crevice area. Yeah, this part right here I played pretty safe. If I ever think about going for the 40 or just even a lower 41, there's a few things I could probably optimize better in this stage. I have, I think, a better mental model for getting that trick rolling under the reed. I also skipped the RP roll, or RC roll, or whatever it's called. RPG roll. Because I found myself, even if I got the roll, the last roll, jumping off the reed, I don't know how to roll past the crate yet. And so usually I'm like rolling past it and then I get stuck. And so I have to wait anyway. What's going on, Luna Lockhart? Welcome, welcome. We are currently doing a rebroadcast of my last night offline stream, or offline recording of a PB. But with how this run went, I would say that I would still like to improve this time. Like, I can easily get a mid 41, and then if I learn a few new tricks and optimize my movement, I can definitely start getting into that lower 41. But like this run and the whole night, like it was really taxing to try to get to a consistent run, because my runs were no longer about mistakes. They were more, well, big mistakes. They were more about just pure movement, and for me that was really challenging. But I did get a 4202 this same night, and so I'm definitely getting more consistent, but I need to probably step it up if I want to get anything lower than a 4130. But you already know my PB time. I have it in the title. It's a 4158. And I think it's a high 4158, so as you'll see as this run progresses, there's plenty of time save. Like, this climb is nasty. I've been playing slime climb a little safer than usual, because usually I jump up the ropes to save time, but somewhere, as I said, it was a rough night. Like, I had runs that were dying on Slime Climb, and so I was like, okay, remove that variable. Let's just try to get the run done, because I was pretty confident in my other parts of the route. So I just kind of banked on I'll sacrifice the time there, and then I knew my bramble was a little sloppy in my previous PB. So I had a point in my previous PB where I was literally shooting between two barrels over and over and over again, and I had no idea why. So this one's definitely a lot better. What's my goal now? Well, my goal was ultimately 41. I'm definitely still happy with this run. I'm also really happy about this fine clip. But anyway, I'm happy with the 41, but I know I can do better. So I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna set another goal above the 41, because originally, I would say earlier this month, my goal was a 42. And the 42 came a lot easier than I expected. Like, I got the 42 probably a week after coming back to Donkey Kong Country 2. And so I was like, all right, let's go for the 41. Let's really push this. And so after pushing for the 41, getting it last night, like, it was pretty taxing. So my new goal, I would say, don't really have one for this game, but I do plan on going to I'm going to Disney World. My goal is to start learning Super Mario RPG, and so that's going to be my new kind of main game that I'm looking at. But I'm still going to be running Donkey Kong Country 2. It just won't be as frequent, and if I do, like, I'm just gonna try to cut my time. Like, I'm gonna say maybe 41:30, but I would say eventually I would like to get a 40, but I'm okay if I don't get that, like, this year, if that makes sense. Because my goal for SMRPG would be sub 3, which would be also challenging because I have a like a U-cart. So right here, I'm already 10 seconds ahead. I could have easily got 5 seconds at Crow. So that would put me about 15 seconds. If I had Fakeless and Lockjaw, I'd be about 7 seconds. So what does that put me at? 16 seconds or so. So I already know that time is there. That would just take a lot more grinding of World 1. Disney World. I have no memories of Disney World, even though as a kid, I have a picture of myself as a baby at Disney World, but I don't remember anything about it. But I would like to go in the next couple of years. I imagine I'd go to the one in Florida, not the one in California. I guess that's Disneyland technically. So this was a pretty solid Hornet. I felt like my honey climbs were getting a lot better. Joan had to come get the laser pointer for our dog. You can probably hear her. She's like super excited now. Yeah, she's really excited. There's also a few things on this stage that I don't do. I don't do the little flitter skips. And so that would save me, I actually don't know how much time that saves, but I would imagine a second or two. Been there twice, once as a kid and again at the end of high school. Disneyland is the original? I didn't know that. I thought Disneyland was, I guess that makes sense because Disney World is bigger. But yeah, I always thought that like, so I grew up in the southeast, so I always thought that Disney World was, you know, like the Disney World. Like I didn't find out about Disneyland until later in life. I don't see why someone would want to go to Florida. I growing up in Georgia, Florida was a really sweet place to go. Like I remember we would take road trips to Orlando and do several things there. Like go to the what's it called? Well, it's definitely Universal Studios, but it's something I don't remember what it's called. But I think it's some part of Universal Studios. And then now they have Harry Potter World, which I think would be really awesome. Wait, really? Thought it was there first. One thing I'm happy about is that my Bramble Scramble hasn't been giving me any issues. I can still do a time save there if I do a quick, I think you call it a moonwalk, to jump over the bees. So that's probably a second or two that I could save. If I really wanted to relearn my Bramble, I could not do the little turnaround at the end, because that definitely loses some time. But I know for me, it like guarantees the wrong warp, or at least the right height to do the Beetle Clash. And if anyone's actually learning that trick, I would highly recommend learning that, because my my success rate after doing that, like, it was probably like 75 or 70 to easily like 95. Like usually I don't miss the throw anymore. If I ever mess it up, it's usually trying to get the invincibility barrel. Wait, really? Do y'all both live in the same area? I imagine Arcadia, from where you're at, a drive to Disneyland would not be an easy drive. Even for me, I wouldn't want to drive that, and I'm only a few states away. But yeah, a few other things. Actually, let me talk to Mudhole. I started to play a lot more conservatively. So this part, pretty straightforward. I started playing this part safe because one of my runs died right here. So I didn't get the roll here and I fell under. And so I was like, screw it. I'm just going to play it safe, grab the chest, and go that way. I also don't do the roll under if I'm feeling like self-conscious about it, because usually I'll do it, but it's more for like swag points than it is actual time save, because I'm sure it saves time, but I know it can be inconsistent, so I just kind of took that out. And then my Mudhole Long Warp has been a lot more consistent after I figured out what was wrong, that being the not spawning the third beetle at the right time with the bang. Both in the same state, I can get to her place in under 2 hours. Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, I can. I've only been to y'all's state once. My wife's family wanted to, since I'd never been there before, coming from the southeast, they wanted to treat us out to checking out Times Square and all that kind of stuff. Something was wrong with my wrong warp? But yeah, before, like, I would get into like periods of time where wrong warps like wouldn't work for me. At one point it was Bramble, that's another time loss right there. Not a huge deal though. But Mudhole was the one that gave me a lot of issues. Like there was a period where I was like super tensed and I didn't know if I was gonna get it or not. My King's Instinct has definitely got a lot more consistent. After you figure out how to maneuver yourself in the hive, it becomes super easy. Like on the second round, going that top hive, coming back to the second hive down, or it's the third? 1, 2, yeah, second one. Usually the only thing that goes wrong on my Zing Sting now is missing a shot. So I have to make sure I'm completely turned around before I shoot. Yeah, so big time save. I'm 14 seconds ahead. So if I had a good crow, that would have been easily 20 seconds. But yeah, I was only in New York City for like, I want to say like maybe 4 hours, 5 hours. Because we were coming from Maryland, and so it's quite a trip. So we were just doing a day trip out there. But we did a musical, went out to eat a little bit, went to Koreatown, stuff like that. But it was pretty sweet. I definitely enjoyed it. Oh, this part right here. Like, what happened? I forgot this happened, so I had to tag out. Okay, so that was one spot where I definitely lost time. I totally forgot that happened. I'm also for some reason just bad at despawning that guy for some reason. Nomix has an Antilles and I have an Arcadia. Yep. Yeah, Lucy's a little excited. I think I win. Well, y'all could always move to Colorado. I don't know, like, I never thought about living in New York. Like, I know a lot of people that have moved to New York in regards for work, but are the winters really harsh there? Because I know in Maryland the snow, like, it piles up and it just stays there, whereas in Colorado, when it snows, it just melts the next day, which is super nice. So I like having the seasons here. Whereas up north, I've heard they can be pretty brutal. I'm Kratos' favorite. Good old Corrin. I was still, Corrin is still not the same. We had a mild winter. Gotcha. That's pretty cool. So do y'all actually hang out outside of Twitch World? So that's pretty cool. Even though Antilles only lives like 20-something minutes away, I probably see him probably every couple of weeks, not too often. Well, hello, Snow. Oh, you never met in person, gotcha. Yeah, the weather here is like, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's predictable, because like right now for the last few weeks it's been like super nice weather, whereas before that super hot, and so it almost felt like fall. Like I felt like I was already getting ready for winter, and then today it was kind of back up to hot. But what's nice is that it's not humid. Oh, that was a little movement mistake there. I didn't roll as deep as I could. I do get the roll here. I think the rest of this was pretty solid. I still play this part pretty conservatively. You can jump and fight the wind a little bit to save a little bit of time. And then this part right here, I kind of took my time with the shot because I was a little worried because I know how much time I'm saving right now. And so I was like, okay, just keep the run alive. But you'll see what happens later. You met Zero the other day? Nice. It's funny, I haven't watched a lot of Zero streams, unfortunately. I need to catch more of his streams. Like, I think I was watching some of his Doraemon runs, but I saw that he was running, or did a submission for, what was that racing game? Oh, I also did this part weird. Well, it's already passed, but like by this time, I'm also like really brain dead because I've already had so many dead runs. I also had a really good run, probably just as good as this one, where I died at headbutt. Zara's pretty funny to watch. Yeah, I hear that. Like, I hear all of his quotes, but I never actually see them for myself. I believe I also mess up here. Let me see. Oh, no. Okay. So I had another run that died here because I was trying to do the tight roll. And if you do it right, like, Diddy just flies. And it saves a good amount of time. But I end up getting hit. And if you get hit there, you'll usually boost to the back up to the second level. And then you're also dashing with Dixie, which is really slow. So I lost a lot of time in another run. And so that was another variable where I was like, okay, screw it, I'm gonna do this really safe. And this whole time I'm like reminding myself, like, you know, I know the run. Like, just do what you need to do to, you know, keep going. Is Lester the unlikely two-player one controller? Dang, he's, if I remember correctly, he's like submitting a lot of things. But, oh, it's stunt FX, stunt race FX or something like that. But I remember it was a game that I used to play a lot as a kid. So I was pretty hyped for that. I haven't seen the run yet, but I need to go watch the VOD. Alright, so you saw the mistake in Gusty where I lost Diddy. Let's see, I got a really slow Web Woods at the beginning, whereas I believe in my previous PB I had the super fast roll, and so that thing alone probably would have been, I'd imagine, 4 seconds over where I got now. So this I had, I think it was right spawn, now got left spawn. I do get, like, that was a really weird exchange right there. I almost got wrecked. And so I got a left spawn, and I was a little panicky because I wasn't sure if I was gonna lose the barrel. But bam, you see, I'm now at 3 seconds. And that's exactly the amount of time for me to get a sub 42. And so I'm a little discouraged because, you know, going 13 seconds to down to 3, it's good to be able to have that buffer, but I didn't realize I was going to lose that buffer all the way through World 5. And so my Arctic was also really solid in my previous PB, and so it's just super hard to try to get that. And so then I get hit here, and I'm like, oh gosh, like, I'm already choking. Then I get clipped right there. Like, Arctic is just going bad. I haven't even heard of what Lester the Unlikely is. I would say the rest of this stage is pretty standard, but, you know, losing time at the beginning of Arctic, it's just hard to control the fish. I also know I can do this part a little faster. I haven't spent too much time but I know you can do it where you stay at the bottom and then you trigger the goal. Still doing this stage fairly safe, but more consistent, I would say. I'm not doing ghetto bees yet, and after the checkpoint, you'll see my little funny strat. I do get the roll there, which is nice, or the hover. But with as much time that I was fighting for all of last night, like to only save, a couple seconds that, reaching my goal is great, but like struggling for seconds, man, it was. Also, I did that trick not how I usually do it, and so that kind of threw me off too. Usually I do a back throw, or I throw to the right, and then the hook takes the barrel out of Dixie's hair, whereas that time I just thankfully was at the right height that the hook just hit. But from a previous run, the one that I got the other 4202, I know that I saved a little under 3 seconds in the last world. I also, that little, going straight up to the left from the croc that throws the hook, usually I don't go for that, but I knew that it was a time save, and Antilles told me about it, and so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go for it, even though I've never practiced it, and I've only seen it in other people's runs. I also just grabbed all those bananas. For some reason, after I did that, I was like a little proud with myself because I was like, oh, I got all the bananas. That's how I saw him. He was reasonably close. Are you talking about the crocs that throw the hooks? I also know that there was another thing that I've only seen other runners do, and so I knew I was really close, and so I was like, okay, I just have to do things that I know that I can do, and I've seen other people do it, so it's kind of taking a risk. But at the end of this, when I was doing the glitch at the end, when you have the invisible barrel, you can run towards the spiny instead of waiting the spiny to come to you. I still do it a little slow, but I'm sure I probably saved maybe, I would estimate about at least half a second. Also, right there, I noticed that the bee was a little closer than it usually is. It seemed like the platform was a little higher. So right here, I thought about it for a second. I was like, oh yeah, I can run towards him. Because usually I wait and just let him hit me. My previous PB, the biggest hiccup that I had in this stage was that I didn't get the fish fast enough. And so I was like sitting there like trying to grab the fish, just like swimming around. And so I would say, I'd imagine at least 3-4 seconds trying to, this part right here. So this time I at least get the fish and I don't get hit, which is good. And I have a pretty good dismount, good team swap, but I hit this guy. So I definitely make sure that I don't get hit by him, because that would have definitely lost a lot of time. And then this part, I've been getting a lot more consistent at. Because I used to jump over the barrel, but it's a little inconsistent. Sometimes you accidentally pick with the barrel, which slows you down, and sometimes you won't be able to roll to the end. And so now I just don't hold Y until after the barrel. I think my CLC was pretty standard. I messed up a little jump there, but not a huge deal. I don't think my runs are at the point where those little things matter. Like, my movement is definitely far from perfect. I get the CLC. I know other runners have a better setup for that, where you throw the you spawn the cannon closer to the floor. so that when you pick up the cannonball, you're there. I don't have to jump for the cannon. So not sure how much time that saves, but I would assume at least like 2 seconds or something like that. Yeah, execution was pretty solid here. Had a little tiny hesitation there. And I don't think... Yeah, I didn't get the Omega jump here, which would allow me to skip 2 B jumps. And so at this point, I know that I've messed up at... what was it? I know I had hiccups at Arctic. I think it was somewhere else. And so at this point, I don't even know like what my time save is. I just know I was like right here, I was like, okay, just focus on hitting the right number of bees. Don't do an extra shot if I don't need to. Right here was a little scary. Probably hesitated more than I needed to. And then here I was like, okay, focus on up in 3. And then right here, I think is when I started looking at my timer and I was like, oh wait, I think I'm ahead. But I knew I still had Screech, and my Screech is usually pretty consistent. So even from here, you can kind of get an idea of where my time was going into the last world and how much time I will lose. So Screech is a stage that Corky Butter, what's going on, Jester? Currently doing a rebroadcast of my offline stream. So right here, I get the jump, because that's a new strat that I've added probably since sub 43. Okay, here I was like, do not mess up the skip, but I get hit, and so I'm like, crap. It's good that I didn't get the timer, because if I got the Screech, then that would be guaranteed like 3-second loss or whatever. And so here I was like, okay, whatever. Usually I would go for the ring skip. This time I was like, screw it, I'm gonna go for it, because I knew that for my previous 4202 that I had 3 seconds to save. And so I was like, I'm gonna just take my chances and wait at the ring skip, or wait at the ring, if I can say that, and then focus on really good K roll throws. Is this all I play anymore? I would say up until last night, my main goal was the sub 42, and so now that I got sub 42, I feel like that frees me up to go back to some other games and start learning some new ones. And so the game that I'll be learning next is Super Mario RPG. Why is Corky Butter not an emote yet? I need to rename the Oh Butter emote to cut. Okay, so right there, I almost got shot because I totally forgot where I was. I was a little too excited. But I was remembering here, wait at the wing. I was trying to remember, okay, remember my setups for really quick K-roll throws. And I've done this enough where I'm like, okay, some of these I don't have setups for. But like this one was really slow. Like I threw that a little short, so I lost some time for sure. And that's because my distance away from K-roll was so far. For that one, if you're close enough to K-roll, you get an early, you smash the barrel earlier, and then you're able just to pick up the barrel and then wait like half a second and throw. These are the throws that I usually don't get. But yeah, I'm not sure if I finished what I was saying, but the next game I'll be learning is SMRPG, and so I'll be starting some offline practice, just learning the route, and then I'll also be doing some online practice as well. I would imagine I'll probably do more online practice than I do offline practice, honestly. But some of the games that, so this is a good throw here. So that one I know I have a setup for where you pick up the cannonball, do a full jump, and as you land, wait a second, then throw. Non-speed runs, nothing yet. I did have fun doing Tales of Symphonia. Hey, what's going on, Saya? Welcome back. I'm doing the rebroadcast of my 41 PB last night. Then after this, it's pretty open. I could demo any Donkey Kong Country 2 stuff if you'd like. Do any tutorials if you're all having any issues with anything. That was also a throw, like, normally if I'm on a good PB pace, I'm just like totally patient with that. Like I wait for the suction to start and then I throw. Whereas this case, I didn't know if I was gonna get it. Like I was looking at my timer now and I was like, crap, I didn't get it. Cause I still don't have a good estimate of what my time save is on K-roll. And so I do a little shimmy there to make sure he spawns farther away. And then I try to do as early as I can to throw. And I don't look into my I don't look at my timer here until I see, like right here. I look at my timer and I'm like, it took me a second. I'm like, what are these numbers?